Hello and welcome to the Ask Ardyce podcast, where we ask my grandma questions about life, the universe, and absolutely anything, and she gives us her honest answers. Here with me today, as always, is the wonderful Ardyce herself. Grandma, did you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi, everybody. We're going to do something a little bit different now. Miranda's going to ask me some questions, I think.
Yeah, you betcha. So this episode is going to be a special episode. I have been pretty darn jealous of everyone asking my grandma these amazing questions, and I have absolutely loved hearing the answers, but I was thinking that I might ask her a few questions about her life and about her memories, and just see what lessons we can all learn from that. I know that lots of people have been very curious about who exactly Ardyce is and what kind of life she has lived, and we've gotten a couple questions to that effect, but I thought I'd kind of dig in a little deeper here today and hopefully open up the wonderful Ardyce and get some perspective that we can all learn from. So, Grandma, I'm just going to start jumping into the questions. What moments in life did you feel like you most belonged?
With my family, I had 7 brothers and sisters, and we were such a close family, and I think I felt that I belonged right from the day I was born, and I know what a blessing that is. I know now, the older I get, the more fortunate I know I am to know that I was loved right from day one.
Yeah, and how has that belonging impacted you in your life? How has that shaped you as a person?
I think it's allowed me to be more loving and caring about other people.
Right.
Because I was taken such good care of. It makes it easier for me to try and take care of other people.
So true. And how, for other people who maybe didn't experience that in their own families, how do you create that? How do you create your own family or your own community where you really belong?
I think often people are fortunate enough for it to be in a job situation where you often hear of the armed forces where they really are a family together. And I know that's altogether different than what we're talking about. No. But lots of times a neighborhood, maybe there's 3 families in a neighborhood that get together every Sunday and have a barbecue in somebody else's backyard. Right. And that becomes a family, and the children in that group become a family. So it can run anywhere, and I think anybody that's fortunate enough to become a family, to be comfortable within a group, no matter what the group is, school, church, home, right, whatever, I think we're very fortunate we can find a spot like that in life.
Yeah, so it's as simple as sharing space or sharing interest with somebody, hey?
For sure.
All right. So kind of to the other extreme, which moments in life did you feel the most outcast, like you did not fit in?
After my divorce, you have so many friends that are friends of both you and your ex, and all of a sudden, I was never comfortable, and unfortunately so, I was never comfortable in the situations where we were invited to the same things. It just wasn't easy for me for some reason, and those were the times that I felt very much as an outcast, as I didn't belong, as that type of thing. So I had to find a different way to make that better.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question is, how did you get through that? How did you get back to a place of feeling comfortable and feeling like you had a community and feeling all right with things? How did you get through it?
There again, I went back to my family, started to play cards with my sisters, started to go to the bar with my brothers. What can I say? Right. Just all of these things. Sometimes we did all of those things together. Invited to everybody's place for meals. I invited everybody to my home for meals. So just more of that association again. And also making friends at work and doing different things with them. So, once you're single and you are working with people that are single, it's a whole new dynamics.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love this idea of when you're feeling like you don't belong, go back to the people who made you feel like you belong, whether that's your family or whatever community you have, then you can kind of ease your way back into feeling comfortable with yourself again, hey?
You bet.
Wonderful. Okay. And I love that little note that you used to go to bars with your brothers and sisters and all that. I know how much you guys enjoyed each other's company, and I know you guys had some wild times together too. So, now, which moments in life were your biggest highs? What were the moments where you kind of felt on top of the world?
When I had my sons, I can't tell you, they just touch your heart, they touch your soul. They were the most precious times of my life. And then my grandchildren. Those are the times when I saw these beautiful new lives coming into my world that just made it that much better, was my highs.
Wow. And you've mentioned that before about the births of your children and your grandchildren. What was it about those moments? Was it when you held them? Was it when you saw them? Was it seeing little fingers and toes? Like what in those moments tickled you and connected with you?
Well, I think when you first hold that child, and you do count their fingers and toes. People say that, but we do. And just to see them look at you and to know that this little person needs you, that you're really needed with this little person, and give them everything you can to make them comfortable and belong in this world. With grandchildren, it's a little different. With grandchildren, it's just delightful joy. It's just a joyful time that you're going to get to hold these babies and play with these babies and do all these wonderful things with these babies and children as they grow, and not have to take a lot of responsibility for it.
There you go. But both of them are joyful experiences. You're so right.
For sure they are.
I was just curious because, you've mentioned that before, and to me, birth sounds like a lot of work. So for you to say that as one of the highlights of your life is, it's just...
The rewards are always better. Our reward is way better than what you went through to get it there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. What moments in life challenged you the most?
I think school challenged me a lot. I don't think I was the type that was willing to put the effort in I needed to excel at school. So I chose to go to work very young, and that worked out okay. And then I went to hairdressing school, and I taught hairdressing for a few years, and then just went on to have lots of different careers and all kinds of stuff.
You've always kind of been forward thinking in the way that you don't let other people tell you what a good way to live your life is. It's school didn't call to you, right? So you sort of chose your own path.
Yep, wasn't it? Probably should have maybe got a little more schooling, Brad, but that's okay. It all worked out all right. I'm still here.
And like you said, you never stopped learning. You went to hairdressing school. You were an entrepreneur. You started your own business. You were always trying something new and learning something new. Like, people shouldn't be limited to the walls of school to feel like they're getting an education either, right? So
no, and you don't have to have a big education to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And so, which moments in your life were hardest at the time, but turned out to be the best for you? Things that challenged you but made you better?
Wow. Okay, once again, I'm going to go back to the times leading up to my divorce.
Right.
They were very, very difficult, very heart-wrenching and very demoralizing and all of those kind of things. And it was just a really rough time. And then I will tell you, when I got my divorce, I went down the court steps and I took off my wedding ring and I threw it as far as I could. And it was just like I was liberated.
I just can't imagine what it was like getting a divorce in those times when it was really, it was kind of frowned upon, right? It was...
Oh.
So I just have so much respect for you, Grandma, for having the courage to take that step, but I don't think everyone at that age
and I didn't want to get into the abuse, Miranda, but that is certainly was a big part of it, and
right.
That was certainly what was the hardest for me and the boys, but it was the adultery that gave me the courage to do it. I think I found a loophole there because they didn't believe in women being abused back then.
Right. So
it was just a different time. So you had to have adultery or you weren't getting a divorce anytime soon.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's terrible to say, but I'm grateful he was adulterous then, because I wouldn't have wanted you to stay in that anyways. So
no. And I think it would have got out eventually, but that certainly helped me to, certainly gave me the last push I needed.
Yeah. Wow, Grandma. Just hearing you talk right now, I just had the question pop up in my mind. How do you find peace in moments of turmoil? Like when you were going through that, it was years, wasn't it, where your marriage wasn't great?
Yeah.
And so how do you find peace to keep going, enough daily happiness when things are tumultuous?
There again, I think my sons, to be able to go for a walk with them holding their hands, and we all laughed and talked and everything, and for them to cuddle up and watch TV with me, to sit on my lap, just for the three of us to be a group and to be happy.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of fits in with what you were saying about, when you felt like you didn't belong, going back to your family, when you felt like your marriage wasn't going great, going back to your sons and to what was happy in your life and the positive relationships seems to be the way that you can ground yourself a little bit.
For sure it does, yeah.
How about, is there a moment in life when you felt the most proud? The births, or...
I think, again, I have to think about that, because you feel such joy and such accomplishments and everything, giving birth to a little human being, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think what I was most proud of was possibly their accomplishments, and maybe my accomplishments, maybe as they got older and I watched them do wonderful things and become wonderful human beings. Just with all of us accomplishing everything we could probably accomplish to the best of our ability. I think, as years went on, those were the things that filled me up the most. Rob becoming an arborist, your dad going back with three little girls to university and managing it. It wasn't an easy situation for all five of you. Right. Your mom included in there. I was so proud of him, and my boys did wonderful things, and they were both very kind human beings and both cared about other people.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. That was one of the most important things to me about their personalities.
Yeah, I like your focus on the way they lived their life, right? It wasn't the moment of Dad walking the stage. It was watching him do those years of university with 3 kids in tow to get there, right? And, it wasn't just the moments that they accomplished things, but just the fact that Uncle Rob and Dad were both really kind and thoughtful people throughout their lives. Like, that induces pride. That makes me really happy that you're more focused on kind of the journey, right?
Yes.
But anyways, yeah, those were all the questions I had. Grandma, is there anything you'd like to say to sign off and, say hello to the world? Any messages you want to send out there?
Thanks for taking part in this new little bonus episode that we decided we should do.
Yeah, thanks for rolling with it, you guys. It was something a little different, but I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know her a little bit differently. I love hearing my grandma's stories, and I just wanted to kind of do a few questions that dug into her childhood and who she is and what we can learn from it. So I hope you all learned lots, and maybe this will spur on some follow-up questions from all of you. So that was Ask Ardyce. I hope you got as much out of that as I always do. If you have any other questions, feel free to post them on Facebook, and I'll nag Grandma with some more questions soon.